For the first time in 60 years, Italian club Bologna are on the verge of qualifying for the Champions League, and it's all thanks to the mind of their visionary manager Thiago Motta, who's taken a squad with the 5th lowest wage bill in all of Serie A all the way to the top 4, ahead of a resurgent Roma and even outperforming reigning champs Napoli. Today we meet the former player turned tactician as well as the cast of unknowns making this modern-day football project possible. This is why everyone should be watching Thiago Motta's Bologna. Welcome back, guys. You're watching the Sideline Starters, and my name is Andy, first team all sideline. So without further ado, let's get started. To understand Bologna's rise to the top 4, we first need to study the mind of their manager, 41-year-old Thiago Motta. As a player, the Brazilian-born Italian quietly collected Europe's finest honors, winning the Champions League with Barcelona, a treble with Inter Milan, and 5 league titles with PSG, in a playing career that saw him managed by the likes of Carlo Ancelotti and Jose Mourinho, 2 managers he name-dropped in his footballing thesis titled The Value of the Ball. A philosophical exploration of a football is not just a manager's principal tool for tactical expression, but the most precious object in his own personal expression. In Thiago Motta's own words, losing the football became a sort of individual and collective football crime. And knowing this about the Bologna manager disarms us to the shocking fact that the Rosso-Blu have averaged the 3rd highest possession total in Serie A and completed the 2nd most passes as well. He continues to describe this football crime as one that must be repaired in the most decisive way in the competitive field through teamwork, a philosophy that's played out in practice, as we can frequently see his team pressing opposition high up the pitch. These out-of-possession principles result in his side also leading all of Serie A in total tackles, metrics ultimately made possible by Bologna's 4-1-4-1 formation, or what Motta himself has referred to as a 2-7-2 when reading the shape from left to right, with 2 wide options on the left, 7 players occupying central spaces, and another 2 on the right. And yes, I know 2 + 7 + 2 is 11. Quick maths! And we never abbreviate our formations to include the goalkeeper. But this manager explicitly asks his keeper to act as the team's first attacker, entrusting him with the responsibility of building out from the back, behind a back line comprised of center-back, full-back hybrids that can come into midfield, where they trigger the movement of equally adaptable center midfielders, who feed their dangerous number 8 who can score himself, or link up with his powerful and prolific false 9, who will happily lay the ball off to Bologna's wide options, or simply finish chances on his own when necessary. But we need names to faces, so let's meet the starting 11. We'll start with Bologna's best player, their false 9, Joshua Zirkzee. Now usually when you see a 6'4" center forward with this kind of frame, you'd assume he's a brutish target man who depends on service. But Zirkzee's actually the opposite. The 22-year-old Dutchman's standout qualities are actually his ability on the ball, as well as his deadly finishing. He dribbles through traffic with composure well beyond his years, and possesses the flair and close control we usually associate with players who have a lower center of gravity. His skill and finesse make him Bologna's most dangerous player inside the box, as the young man leads the entire squad in both goals and assists. Move over to the right and we find the 2nd highest goal scorer, Riccardo Orsolini. Signed by the club in 2019, the Italian winger has become a fan favorite, as he frequently wows supporters by cutting onto his favorite left foot to curl shots past opposition keepers. On the left, we have newcomer Alexis Saelemaekers, who arrived in the summer after a 3-year spell at Milan. And despite him naturally being a right winger, the Belgian has adapted his game to his manager's needs and marshals that left flank whenever he's asked to, with his heat map proof of his industrious attacking and defensive work rate. Now at the peak of Bologna's midfield, we find the club captain Lewis Ferguson. Now it's not every day that a new summer signing can walk into a dressing room and be given captaincy a few months later, but the 24-year-old Scotsman has immediately begun to lead his team by example, registering 6 goals and 4 assists this season so far, including a game-winning header versus Atalanta in their first meeting, and a game-winning strike from distance in their second. No player on the entire squad has amassed more league minutes than him as well, which is a testament to just how crucial he is to Motta's midfield, as he works alongside Swiss playmaker Michel Aebischer, who just so happens to lead all of Bologna's midfielders in total pass accuracy, and box-to-box engine Remo Freuler, who also signed in the summer after making a name for himself in over 200 appearances for Atalanta. Freuler's defensive output reads nicely when compared to midfielders across Europe's top 5 leagues, and really comes in handy when he's asked to rotate with members of his back line. Starting with their best defender, Stefan Posch. The Austrian center back turned right back is not only revered as one of the Serie A's best tacklers, but as one of the most effective distributors of the football in his position, with the veteran posting more than half a dozen world-class percentiles in defensive and passing categories per 90. But as impressive and consistent as Posch has been, Bologna's right-sided center back Sam Bokema is just as crucial. Signed from AZ Alkmaar in the summer, the 25-year-old Dutchman is another hidden gem in Motta's recruitment department can take credit for, as his offensive contribution to the team reflects his manager's obsession with possession, racking up 6,000 more yards of passing distance than his next closest teammate, an attacking attitude matched by his partner Riccardo Calafiori. The 21-year-old star boy is already linked with the likes of Juventus, and when you stop and see him carrying the ball through midfield, it's easy to see why. Add that to him leading the entire squad in interceptions by a considerable margin, and you're looking at one of the most exciting young defenders in Europe. Victor Christensen rounds off Bologna's back line and serves as another extension of Thiago Motta's attacking principles, and is actually tied for the most assists in the squad with 3. He's another 21-year-old that looks to be one for the future. 32-year-old Lukas Skorupski, on the other hand, provides necessary experience between the sticks, displaying the confidence to not just start Bologna's attacks, but to also save them from the oppositions, with downright heroic acrobatics when necessary. And there we have it, Thiago Motta's starting 11, a group of newcomers who have seamlessly gelled together in a system taking Italian football by storm, led by a man born in Brazil, who's rightfully turning the heads of club execs from all over the world, as he takes Italy's 7th largest city for a top 4 race they haven't seen in more than half a century.